Welcoming the guest, the chief guest of today's program, Pamidis Satya Srinivasa Rao garu, founder and CEO for Seed Hub Ventures LLP.
Oh, pleasure to meet you, Andy. Thank you so much, Rajesh garu.
Thank you. And our today's resource person, Dr. Rajshekhar Mamillapalli, is a serial entrepreneur. Welcome, sir.
I think he left. He's rejoining, Andy, in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, good morning, the chief guest of our program, Srinivasa Rao garu, Satya Srinivasa Rao garu, and all the respected HODs of all the departments, dear faculty members. Very good morning, all of you. So, first let me introduce briefly the concept of IIC. It is Institutions Innovation Council. In the year of 2018, the Ministry of Education launched the Institutions Innovation Council program in collaboration with AICTE for higher education institutes to encourage the culture of innovation and startup ecosystem in educational institutions. So the IIC's major role is to engage a large number of faculty as well as students and staff in various innovation and entrepreneurship related activities. And this IIC together with MIC, that is Ministry of Education Council's Innovation Cell, promotes and supports the students' innovations and sustainable startups from the academic institutions. So IIC model is very unique and it is distinct as it integrates the functionalities of calendar activities like various online programs, webinars and mentor sessions like that. And scoring and reward system is there in the IIC model. Decentralizing operation with the division of work, progress monitoring and incentive mechanism in a coordinator manner through digital platform. So this is a IIC model. So it's an honor as our institute is also a part of this emerging program, and we are working actively towards the promotion of innovation. So recently we have restructured the IIC with 10 members from various departments of our institute. So to make the comprehensive impact in the field of innovation, IPRs and entrepreneurship. So various activities are planned for the current and upcoming academic year. So as a part of this program, today the IIC cell of the Naikola Institute of Engineering and Technology is conducting an online session on angel investment or venture capital funding opportunity for early stage entrepreneurs by Dr. Rajshekhar Mamellapalli, who is an entrepreneur and advisor to the Namaste Kisan Hyderabad, in association with the Seed Hub Ventures LLP. So let me take the privilege of introducing our chief guest, Ms. Pamidi Satya Srinivas Rao Garu, founder and CEO of Seed Hub Ventures LLP. So he is an enabler in innovation, entrepreneurship, incubation and accelerator. So he is having 10 years of experience in helping and supporting the government or private innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystems or educational systems on the following topics like incubator capacity building, hire, train, retain, develop talent accelerator, startup school program development in public or government procurement from the startups, SMEs, innovation or entrepreneurship courses, curriculum and institutional leadership coaching and empowerment, and so on and so forth. So previously he worked in various companies like the Sedibus, Tech Mahindra, Wisdom Jobs, HDFC Life, etc. So the company profile, so that is the Seed Hub Ventures LLP profile in short, it accelerates the ideas, and the vision of this company is to become the entrepreneurial platform that impacts students across the globe towards entrepreneurship. And the mission of the Seed Hub Ventures LLP is empower students with entrepreneur skills, connect them with like-minded people, investors, and incubators to support the startup financially to their disruptive ideas. So welcome to Srinivas Rao Garu for today's program.
Thank you so much and for your welcoming. And Rajshekhar Garu has joined. He's there.
Yeah.
You can welcome him.
Yeah. So Dr. Rajshekhar Mamellapalli Garu, who is the resource person of today's program. So I'm cordially inviting you to the program, sir. Welcome, sir. Rajshekhar, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. So I'm taking the privilege of introducing a brief profile about the Dr. Rajshekhar Mamellapalli. So he is an academician by profession and he is an entrepreneur by passion. Rajshekhar acquired his BE in civil engineering from Anna University, Chennai. Subsequently, after clearing the gate, he completed his MTech in structural engineering from NIT Rourkela and PhD in construction management from KIIT Bhubaneswar. Rajshekhar has also completed his MBA in human resource management from Pondicherry University and a PG diploma in aviation law and air transport management from Nalsar, Hyderabad. So due to his interest in teaching and research, he worked as a faculty with various institutions of repute like Bharat University, Chennai. B.S. Abdur Rahman University, Chennai. University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, Dehradun. Sir Padampat Sangania University, Udaipur, Rajasthan. Rajshekhar Mamilapalli helped and mentored Anna Fit Chennai based on eco-friendly natural fiber textiles made from banana fiber, aloe vera fiber and other plant fibers from 2008. So he is mentoring Shadow Media Productions. He is mentoring a Shadow Media Productions, that is a film production house, which is making films in various regional languages. Rajshekhar Mamilapalli is advisor to Namaste Kisan, a natural food growing company, working with more than 20,000 farmers across India. He has wide exposure and network with first generation entrepreneurs, investors, and policymakers. Over the last 15 years in the journey of entrepreneurship, have earned lessons from the failures and have seen cherished success. So thank you, sir. We are warmly welcoming you to our today's online session on angel investment and venture capital funding opportunity for early stage entrepreneurs.
Thank you very much, Rajesh Garu.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, and I appreciate all of you for taking your time to join and learn something towards entrepreneurship. So I wish this session would be an interaction rather than just an FM radio with video running through for an hour. I want you guys to be active, responding to me, so that we can have a discussion rather than a monologue. So, guys, I appreciate the Nanekula Institute of Engineering and Technology for taking the initiative to promote entrepreneurship among the young brains, and this is very important for all of you to see the other side of education. So, guys, me too is an average student like most of you, and what makes us successful is our thoughts. I mean, if we think, we can do. We are what we think. So, if you can think to be an entrepreneur, you will be. What stops you is also your thought process. What makes you is also your thought process. So it is important that there should be a thought that ignites somewhere at some point of time, and it happened to be a starter for you guys to think towards the other direction of your education leading to rather than job. You can create jobs through entrepreneurship. So guys, I'll in today's session I'll tell you my journey and how it is difficult to take up entrepreneurship. Of course, how exciting and engaging to be an entrepreneur. At the same time, the opportunities that are available to the present youth to take up, because opportunities are plenty, as there are huge avenues for accelerators, incubators, angel investors, venture capitalists, and even institutes are coming forward to promote entrepreneurship where the days are different earlier. And when someone in my times want to start business, the time is completely different. There need to be a family support of finance, which is very much required to start a business. But unfortunately, most of them could landing jobs. So now things are different. What you have the present ecosystem across the country and globe is very conducive to promote entrepreneurship and ready to bear the losses and help first generation entrepreneurs to solve the problems. So guys, let me share my small presentation Yeah. Yeah. Is my presentation visible, guys?
Yeah, it's visible, Rashikar. You can go ahead.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, very good. So, yes. So today I'll touch on few topics, that is startup, entrepreneurs, angel investment, venture capital funding, all of this, and the ecosystem that is available for the first generation entrepreneurs. So first of all, we need to understand the basics. I mean, when we heard this word, I mean, unfortunately, the term, the spelling itself is bit difficult. It is not so easy to spell entrepreneur. Okay, of course, it is not required to know the spelling to be an entrepreneur, but you need to understand what exactly this term means. So I mean, we can consider this as a derivation from the Indian own Sanskrit. So I say that entrepreneur is a Sanskrit word which says antah prerana. So the motivation, the energy, the support should be internal. So entrepreneurs have that antah prerana, where that prerana comes from internal, and only then one can take up this. It is just like self-start rather than kick-start. I mean, if someone kicks you to start, you may be good enough for a job, but no one can kick you to be an entrepreneur. It needs to be self, and that is where we can say that entrepreneurs are self-motivated, self-disciplined, made by their own thoughts and actions. So to be an entrepreneur, there are various things that is required. Of course, guys, as I was telling, I want the session to be interactive. So guys, how many of you are interested to be entrepreneurs? Please respond. I can understand the challenge being on virtual. Of course, I love to be in person to interact with you guys, but due to the current conditions, we are managing and trying to utilize the time effectively. So how could the response be? Whether it would be in chat box or it would be voice, anything is fine, but I want to hear from you guys. How many of you want to be entrepreneurs?
Sir, sorry to interrupt you, sir. Actually, this session is here. Link is open for only faculty members. We are presenting this link to the students in the classrooms.
Okay.
Because they don't have access to this one. Here, whoever are present in this one are only faculty members.
Okay, so they could not respond. So that makes
actually the same. Yeah, whatever you are presenting, this is already it is displayed in the classrooms, sir, online classrooms for all the second and third year classes.
Okay. So can someone curate and make, I mean, the classrooms to respond that, because the response is much important. If not, that would be a one-side communication, just like FM playing continuously, entertaining and engaging. Rather, their thoughts are much important. Would it be possible, sir?
Yes, sir. I will let you know in 5 minutes, sir.
Yeah. Meanwhile, see. Yeah. So, guys, few of you might be really interested to be entrepreneurs. And if I ask you what is the right time to start, the general answer that I receive is after getting experience. after getting experience of working in a job for 4 to 5 years, I want to start my own. That is absolutely wrong, because after working 4-5 years as an employee, you will be habituated to get a monthly paycheck, and you would not be in a position to take that risk. So the right time to start is now. When you are a student, if you start, the advantage is access. You can have great access, and the most advantageous thing is your time. You're studying to achieve, to get a degree. At the same time, you're trying to build your own company or enterprise with the help of resource and systems that would help you achieve excellent outputs. Because as students, there is nothing that you have to lose if you try to start something on your own at this point of time. Later, if as per most of you, if you want to start it later after getting experience, so after 4 or 5 years, you may be in a position to get married. So at that point of time, the social taboo says that you need to have a job for marriage, and later once you get married, you need to support the family. So you get carried away with that without getting into entrepreneurship. So I insist all of you to attempt. Either it is successful or failure, nothing wrong. There is nothing to lose. You can attempt thinking of starting something on your own. That's great. So with these words, if few of you have started thinking to start something on your own, great, that's excellent. So now comes what is required to be an entrepreneur. What is required to be an entrepreneur? It requires multiple characteristics as individual. At the same time, it requires some technical or other skills that have to be acquired, and that can be acquired through learning and upskilling. So, and the other question, when I ask what is required for you to start, the first answer, guys, what do you require to start? What do you require to start your business or entrepreneurship? To start the journey of entrepreneur, what do you require?
Proper plan.
Yeah, I could hear some sound. Yeah.
It could be proper planning.
Proper planning. Fun. Yeah. And anything else required?
Finance.
Great. So I'm ready to fund your startup. How much do you require? I mean, the student. So how much money is required for your startup, for your entrepreneurship journey, for your business? How much money is required? Typically, most of us, most of us would feel that to start business, what we require is finance, money, capital. But unfortunately, that is not really true. Of course, that is one of the component. It is not the only component for us to be an entrepreneur. And there are various successful stories which said that what entrepreneurs require is not just money, it is idea. What we require is idea first. Based on our idea, what is the idea, what is the resource that is requiring, what is the potential. So based on that, we need to come with numbers, that what is the amount of fund that we require to start the business. And based on the amount, then we can look out for source of funds. So first thing is we need to have an idea. So if you ask even your parents, they may not be convinced saying that I want to start business, give me some money. They will not be convinced because they want to know the business that you are going to start. What is the potential? What is the risk? Who are the competitors? What is the total market opportunity? So they need to know everything, and if they are convinced, then they would invest or they would support you with the finance. So similarly, the same is required for any investor to support any of the entrepreneur. I mean, what is required is an idea. And where do you get ideas? Guys, where do you get ideas? So let me tell you, yeah.
So most of the cases we get the ideas from real-time problems.
Yes, absolutely. So business, to define, it is a solution to a particular problem. Every business is a solution to a particular problem that we are trying to address. And even if you see a chaiwala in front of your college is also doing business and he's solving some problem, and the auto wala is solving some problem. So if you try to solve some problem which is existing, then that makes business. So every idea need to have a problem, and to start with you need to take up a problem and come up with solution, and it can the same problem may have multiple solutions. So it need to be very much appropriate where customers or consumers are ready to use it, and not just ready to use, but they should be in a acceptance for paying for it, paying for the service or product that you're giving. So you need to take up a problem, take that problem to a solution, and that solution should be really convincing to the consumers or customers. So here two terms are there, consumer and customer. So consumer is who uses your product or service. Customer is who pays for your product or service. For example, diapers, kids diapers, you have consumer is your kid, customer is parent. Similarly, there are various products and services where we need to impress both customer and consumer. Consumer may be interested to use our product, but customer is not ready to pay for it. Similarly, customer is ready to pay for it, but consumer is not ready to use it. So we need to understand both the segments, whether the consumer and customer are same or they are different. If so, how to convince both at a time with our particular solution to that particular problem. I mean, our own Hyderabad, entrepreneur, Phanendra Sama. Most of you might be aware of Redbus. Redbus is a successful startup exit with 700 crore rupees made from that particular startup, sold to a big enterprise which is now merged with that. So how that Redbus started is with his own problem. I mean, he, while trying to book bus tickets from Bangalore to Hyderabad while working in Bangalore as a software engineer, could find difficult getting a bus ticket, that to private bus ticket, and there are multiple issues because the pricing is a challenge. For the same bus, same seat on a same day, there would be varied pricing for the person sitting next to you. So that would be really disappointing. So he thought of addressing that problem, because many friends or many people would be traveling across. So he tried to address that problem and bought it online. And of course, the journey is with heaps and bounds, and there are multiple challenges. But by addressing that problem and solving and reaching to many, he could make a business build to a capacity where it could be exited at 700 crore rupees, selling it to a bigger guy. So similarly, the Uber cabs, the same. I mean, the founders found difficult getting a cab on a rainy day in US. So cab drivers are waiting for passengers and passengers are waiting for cabs. So they just want to connect both of them, and they use technology to connect both of them. And now Uber is one of the largest public transport company without owning a single cab, single car. So that is how the disruption bought by new generation entrepreneurs in the business. And they are, I mean, even in the Indian Oyo Rooms is the largest hotel company without owning a room. So the disruption, that is the change that they have bought. And we have all the biggies, I mean, Radisson, Trident, Hyatt, all these big star hotel groups having physical inventory, but they are struggling. But without owning a room, this new generation entrepreneurs could make huge impact in the space by solving the problems of the consumers and customers and taking the lifestyle and business to the next level. So here, for you to start entrepreneurship, what is required is not money at all. First thing is idea. Where do you get ideas? From the problems. I mean, the scale of problem would be the scale of opportunity. If you're trying to solve the global problem, the business opportunity is the size of globe. If you're trying to solve problem of a particular locality in your area, then the scope of business is that big or that small. So the tea shop in your locality is selling tea only for that locality, and that is the business potential. And the same tea business, I mean, you need to understand the difference between businessman and entrepreneur. So business, the tea guy is, tea shop guy is also doing the same business, but entrepreneurship is all about scaling. You need to be in a position to scale your thoughts, your business into next level. And the same tea or coffee selling had made a great impact in the formalized business sector by scaling. CCD also sells coffee, just like your tea guy, but the tea shop guy could own one in that locality or else few in that town. But CCD, by scaling to different cities across the country, it could have great impact on the business environment, creating new business models. So guys, you need to understand from all of the existing and past success and failure stories to be getting into the space, because it is not always that you have to commit mistakes, but good thing is learning by yourself, but great thing is learning from others' mistake. So we need to know that what is happening in this particular space, and for knowing, we need to have a strong network and information systems which keeps helping us on what's happening across the market. So make sure that you are aware of getting all these updates on market. That would help you to make proper decisions without repeating the same mistakes. So now you are interested to be an entrepreneur, that means your intention, you have that antaprerana, and you have a good idea. So to not just idea, I mean, you have an idea, and if you come and ask someone to fund your idea, that may be not appropriate. I mean, because what works is not just idea, and there are many other things that is required for you to be really successful in building an empire or building an enterprise. So idea is just 1%. 99% is execution. So if we didn't think, then 99.99% we are not going to be successful. If we have an idea, there is 1% of being successful as an entrepreneur, and rest 99% is the way that we execute. So to execute, we need to have a team. So when you approach anyone for funding, what they look is idea. Absolutely. If idea is good, then what is required next is the ability to execute and implement that idea. If not, we would cherish and clap for ourselves for having that particular idea, because everyone have an idea, but what is missed is implementation and execution. And for that execution and implementation of that idea, what we require is a good and great team. So you need to build a team who is having that cohesiveness of aligning with the idea to take it to the next level, and slowly it has to get onto the path. So once you get onto the path, I mean, there are various, you need to go with POC, proof of concept. So you're saying something orally as an idea. So can you prove it in a small scale? The proof of concept is required. And later piloting is to be done, that it really works when we implement. So these are the systematic ways to do it. Of course, there are various investors in line for us to support. Earlier, even the system, the policy and the government has also restricted too much in promoting entrepreneurship, but now policies are very friendly, and even we have various schemes from government and private parties to get into entrepreneurship. So here, first thing that you require is the intention to turn your hand, opening it to sky, asking for a job, to turn it upside down, to get into a position to offer a job. So how this could be possible? First, you have to think and believe that you can be an entrepreneur. Next, you need to look out for an idea, build a team. So when you have the intention, confidence and belief on self and team with your idea, then you can approach someone for resources. It can be in kind or in cash. It is not always required to be in cash. For example, you are working on a product and what you require is some computers or some resources. There are people who can offer you in kind. It is not always that you need to get only in cash. So taking all that offerings, you can try to build and prove that the idea is working, and then it goes to the next level. So such ideas or such process is called as bootstrapping. I mean, you will be doing by yourself, taking the resources from here and there. So even the great companies are started by this bootstrapping. I mean, Google, Facebook, or all the biggies that you're seeing, which has disrupted the way that we are living and the business that happen to be bootstrapped with the process and belief of the entrepreneurs. So you need to have that strong conviction and perseverance to withhold getting into the space of entrepreneurship. So who has to fund? Initially, you want to become entrepreneur, you have an idea, and if you could convince few more in your non-circles with that idea to spend their time, energy, effort, then you are successful. You are successful in the first step, so that you could convince few more, and the same way as a group of people are convinced, you can convince to raise funds. So here we have different abilities that are required for entrepreneurs. That is, entrepreneurs need to, so they need to have honesty, they need to be fair, they need to believe, they need to be accurate, various, they need to have character, they need to be leader, various abilities is what they need to possess, and strongly we need to understand and be confident that we can take our idea to IPO. So there are processes that happens. So what we have now is just an idea, but where we have to reach is IPO. That is where the investment ends. So first we have angel investors who will be coming forward at the seed stage. So idea is the seed, and if someone are interested to fund you at this particular level, so they are called angel investors, or the fund that we get is seed fund. So it is at the seed level, there is nothing, there is no revenue, there is no proof of concept, there is no real product or service, but the idea looks good, and that is where someone is interested, excited, believing you, your idea, and your team, investing some money to take it to the next level. So seed fund is available. Of course, it is not so easy as spoken. There need to be perseverance. You may knock 10 doors and 10 doors may not be opening, but you need to have that perseverance to keep knocking the doors until some door is open to make your idea work and get that particular requirement to be fulfilled, whatever you want to realize your idea. So importantly, if you just have an idea, what you need is seed fund, and they are angel investors. So in the second half of the session, I'll take you to various angel investors. You need to be a self-learner and explorer by yourself to find whatever you want and whatever is required. So for that particular thing, you need to have a better network. Either, in-person network is great. At least you need to be in a position to have a social network, which is not Facebook or a friend network, but professional network, which can help you to connect the right person who can help you invest the appropriate resources. So the next level of investors are venture capitalists. You, with the idea, you proven to be attracting angel investors who would help you with the small amounts. Generally angel investors come with few lakhs. The general industry norm is 10 lakhs 8%. So if you want to raise a seed fund or a angel investment, so I would be interested to invest in your company, of course meeting all the prior requirements. That is, the team should be convincing, the idea should be convincing, and if that is the case, then later for someone to invest, you need to be a registered entity. of course, there are few angel investors who invest in individuals, but generally, for a formal process to happen, it is important for the idea to be formed as a company, and investors, angel investors especially, would be investing in both the cases, either in individuals or in companies. But it is advisable to have a company which is registered. So here you can understand 8%, 10 lakh rupees. So if you look at 100% at the seed stage itself, you can understand that your company is more than 1 crore rupees. Okay, so that is the general law. Of course, that depends upon the stage of the company, the stage of idea, how good the idea is, what is the potential. So, but in general, 8%, 10 lakh rupees is what is generally offered at seed stage for by angel investors. And next comes venture capitals, where once you are successful by taking the 10 lakhs or whatever the additional amount by diluting the equity, because it's all equity, it's all valuation. Because if you are offering, generally in the finance sector, what is required for lending is collateral. So if at all you go to a bank for funding, what they ask you is for guarantee. So here, whatever we are having is not physical collateral, it is the idea, and it is the potential of that idea to make money. And believing that banks will never fund. Banks will never fund on an idea. Banks will fund on some additional securities, because that would be a secured loan, that too on a loan, not on equity, that is debt. So here what you are looking for is an equity which is not repaid during the process of business, but later that can be exited in other form. So you need to understand that valuation of the company. How is the company valued? So that depends upon the market potential, or penetration, or revenues, or profits. So all of this will be considered for valuation. And once the valuation is done, so there are two types of valuation, that is pre-money valuation and post-money valuation. So for example, pre-money valuation is before I invest money in your company, I am saying that your company is 10 lakh rupees. So for 10% equity, I'll invest 1 lakh rupees. That is pre-money valuation. After I invest money, post-money valuation, I say that this is a 1.5 crore company, because it is already having a capital raised. And so for 10%, 15 lakh rupees is to be invested, where pre-money it is only 1 lakh for 10%, but post-money it is 15 lakhs, because they have capital to grow the business. So valuations are done, and there are multiple stages, this investment flow into the company. So seed stage by angel investors, next venture capitalists coming in with equity taking, and you need to understand who are these venture capitalists, where are they coming from. So we have high net worth individuals, who have huge surplus money, and they want to use that money to earn more money, because the concept of currency, if you have 1 lakh rupees in 2010, if you hold that 1 lakh rupees till 2021, the value of currency is same. But the market scenario, you're having a loss of that currency, because for 1 lakh rupees, earlier you could buy some land, but the same land is now inflated or appreciated, but the money is not appreciated as it is. Money or currency is not appreciated as it is. It has to be rotated in other form to get that appreciation. So HNIs or even banks, we deposit money in banks and they pay some interest. So they need to earn that interest money in addition to their operational cost and profits and other NPAs. So they need to make some money out of that, and what they do is they try to earn money by investing in equities, shares, or even in venture capital, investing in startups. In addition to HNIs and financial institutions, the banks, and there are NBFCs, non-banking financial corporations, which doesn't do any banking, but they hold some amount of money which they want to pump into market and get appreciation for that amount. So all this group, HNIs, financial institutions like banks and NBFCs, will fund that amount to a organization who have that expertise to evaluate the organizations or startups to ensure that their investment is safe in investments of the startups. So generally the success rate of startups in India and world across is 3 to 5%. If there are 100 companies that are started, then we can see only 3 to 5 companies succeed and thrive to the next level, and most of them are dying. So out of these 100 companies, the investments made by this venture capitalist is a high risk proposition. If a bank or individual invest in this, you're investing in one company, there is a risk. You may lose the entire money, or you may get returns because of success. So the risk is very high. So to mitigate risk by either of these angel investors or HNIs or banks or NBFCs, what they do is they form a venture capital where the fund has been raised from all of this, and the venture capital firm will manage all these funds, ensuring that even if most of the companies fail, the returns from that most of the companies would be taken back exponentially by 1 or 2 successful companies. So if you look at the ground scenario, how this companies invest and how many companies are successful, very few. Out of 95 to 97 companies are unsuccessful and dying, or they could just survive but could not really thrive. So here for the venture capital to diversify their risk, they invest in multiple companies. Out of this multiple companies, if one could succeed, the return on all the investments is back. So the language that is heard in the venture capitals is X. If at all I want to invest, venture capital is interested to invest, they ask for time and return. So how many years, how much return? So they speak in the language of X. If I invest X, in 5 years, can I have 5X or 10X? So they don't look for profits. They look for X. So once they find that potential, they would be interested to invest. Of course, we have successful cases. I mean, Ola has great investments, and your own WhatsApp has no revenues. I mean, we don't pay anything for using WhatsApp, but Facebook has bought it for huge cost because the business models have changed. So the new currency for business is data. So WhatsApp has huge amount of data, and data has become the major revenue and major source for the companies to invest. So here you need to be clear on what you could offer in return to the investor. If you are looking for funding, absolutely there are avenues where you could find fund without any hesitation. But what is that you could offer out of the investment? How possible and practical you're in the realization of that particular idea. So all that evaluation happens, and finally the expert team from the venture capital will come with an agreement. And that, I mean, we have challenges with venture capital because venture capitals will regulate to play the game rather than we playing the game. As entrepreneurs, we have our ideas, we have our perceptions, we have our intentions on how to take it further. But unfortunately, when we raise venture capital, their interest is in multiplying money and get high returns. Q by Q, quarter by quarter, we need to show results. There will be intense pressure on the entrepreneur to perform as per the term sheets, because before raising the fund, we will be submitting the financial projections. In next 1 year, this would be our revenue. In next 3 years, this would be revenue. In next 5 years, this would be the revenue. So we need to achieve that as promised. And if we could not achieve, at least in 1 quarter, because this evaluations are done quarter by quarter to understand and monitor and control the flow of business properly. They go by quarter to understand and make sure the company is running properly. So there will be many strings attached to the entrepreneur to make bold, wild decisions, where there will be intense pressure from the venture capitalists. So as an entrepreneur, you need to be sure that are you really looking for money, and you need to look for venture capital. Of course, most of the venture capital along with money would offer more, that is exposure, that is networking, connections, additional business. All that is what the venture capital could offer in addition to money. That is the advantage on one side, but the disadvantage is that you need to understand that you are answerable to the investor every day, and they would be squeezing you. If the deliveries and returns and profits are not as per the plan, so the board may even terminate. Which generally doesn't happen. So in such cases, there would be harsh decisions that can be made by the investors. So generally, this corporate governance, when you are raising fund, you need to be a registered company, and registered company investors also will get into the board having an equity. So they would try to play your game if something goes wrong, and you may be a mute spectator or a mute observer in the game that you started. So you need to be very cautious while getting for funds from venture capitals. And there are other private equities. When they are Redbus is acquired by Goibibo. So that is acquisition that happened for the company to be more profitable in that particular space or have more impact in that particular space. Similarly, so acquisitions generally happen. So you need to be particular whether you want to get into revenues or valuation. If you get into valuation game, that is just bubble. I mean, even today, Amazon is not in profits. They are having huge transactions and huge revenues. Most of the companies are running on valuations but not profits. So you need to be very particular whether you want to get into profits or valuation. Valuation is the game where we are trying to inflate and show the figures that the company value is this much, and for this equity you have to pay the amount. So later, once we have all of this, the investor want to exit. They don't want to live lifelong with the entrepreneur or with the company. They want to exit. So how do they exit? We need to show the exit path as well. I mean, if you invest in my company now, in next 5 years, I will give you an exit with 5x. If you invest 1 crore rupees, in next 5 years, I will exit you with 5 crore rupees is what we need to promise. And within 5 years, they will take an exit path, taking their money, handing over your equity. Or else they would go for an IPO, initial public offer, where they have an equity. So they will try to dilute all their share and sell mostly and have a limited share in that company to raise, get back the money that they have invested, and reinvesting in various other startups. So they don't want to just go with a single or few group of companies. They keep investing. Their investments are huge in various sectors, segments, and companies across geographies as they are interested. So here you need to be very specific whether you really require fund or any other resources. If so, you need to be particular on giving an equity as an entrepreneur, because that is very costly when in the future date, because when you make some revenue, that makes a huge impact on every percentage that you are offering for the money. So 1 crore company, 10%, 10 lakh rupees. After 2 years, that could be a 100 crore company, and 10% is 10 crore rupees is. So this valuation is very important, and you need to be very particular while giving. Of course, why someone has to join you as a team member. So you need to give ESOPs. Equity is to be given for them as well. If you see Infosys, there are a group of people who started and they have their own stocks and interest, and later it has ended with IPO, of course. That is a tech company, and there are platforms and avenues for each of you, either whether you are interested in agriculture or agripreneurship is what we call. There are supporting organizations with fund. They have fund, they have idea and intention to promote more entrepreneurs in that space. Similarly, for biotechnology, for electronics, for civil engineering, name any. They are sector agnostic. All venture capitalists may not be investing in all the areas. Very specific few venture capitals are very specific to that particular sector, and we need to approach them. So here, this is how the flow of funding happens. Of course, there is huge documentation, consultations, term sheets, negotiations that happens, and that happens with the flow. So here, while raising funds, either through angel investors or venture capitalists, you need to be very particular and sure of what you offer and what they offer, and what is the potential of their association? Other than money, is there anything else that could add? Then that is much important that you need to look for, other than just money. So here, if you see the space of investments, venture capitalists, of course, this is rapidly growing. The curve is very quickly growing, and 2019 has been a great year for startups. Because many startups have become unicorns. Unicorns are 1,000 crore plus valuation companies, where the companies could have huge impact on this particular Indian markets, and various startups could achieve this unicorn status in 2019. So where to start? Do we have any specific location to start to be successful? Nothing. It depends upon the idea and how we can really get into that space to explore that. So neither the education qualification of an entrepreneur nor the nor the social status or financial status is important, but the commitment, confidence, and perseverance of entrepreneur is much important. And there are various successful stories. Not all IIM grads are successful entrepreneurs. Not all non-MBAs are failures in entrepreneurship. There are both failure stories for top-notch B school grads, and there are success stories who doesn't have even a proper, even a dropout have a successful story. So there is no fixed rule to be an entrepreneur, and even to raise funds. Of course, the big school guy, the big B school guys may have access to approach and pitch, but it is not always that only they could crack the deals. If you know Oyo, Mr. Ritesh Agarwal is from Raigad, a small town in Orissa. So he is successful raising a huge amount of investment, and he owns one of the largest hotel chains of India. So similarly, what I would advise you is, if at all you have that interest, nothing is stopping you other than yourself. Ecosystem is so strong, so conducive, it is attracting, it is inviting young brains like you to come forward to take the opportunity and the resources, including money, that is available to build next unicorns. So we will hold here, and if we have any questions, we will continue. We will discuss, and may continue in the post lunch with some demonstration of the support system that is available. Is that okay, sir? Rajesh?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So any doubts, any clarifications required? So if post lunch session, by then you may collect some questions and post to me, so that on their behalf I can respond to that. Whatever questions in the classroom that they have, they can give it to the faculty, and faculty can consolidate, and one of you can ask their questions on their behalf, so that we can have a clarification in the post lunch session.
Yeah. Already students have joined, sir. For evening session also, few students will join for the session.
Yeah, so if interactive, they could really get much on their doubts. At the same time, I could push little bit further to get into this space.
Yes, yes, sir.
So guys, will meet in post lunch. By then, if you have any questions, just keep them ready. We will have a discussion. At the same time, I'll demonstrate the support system that is available across India, very specific to India and world across, to nurture entrepreneurs that is available, which is an opportunity for you guys to avail that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Let's break now and meet at 3 sharply.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.